People here. Raise your hand if this is your first time here. Wow. That's amazing. I'm so happy. Yeah, raise your hand if you're not a presenter. Okay. Excellent. Well, welcome. As soon as I get the go-ahead that the stream is going, everybody look at David. I need to stall. So have y'all like graduated now? Is this like the last thing? Yeah. Wow. Good job. Congrats. Let's just have a round of applause for graduating. Yes. All right, are we good? Yes. Are we on?
Yeah, we're the stream.
All right, we're live. Hello. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. Where are we? Welcome to the IGDA, the International Game Developer Association Twin Cities Chapter Gamedev Meeting. We do this every month, and as you'll see, we have a bunch of other events too that I will talk about. How do I make the slide go? I'll kick you. Hey, press the button. Hey, all right. Oh yeah, I'm Trenton. I'm Trenton Gray Oak, by the way. I'm filling in. We're all filling in. Yay! Yeah, you can call me Beth. So the intro, that's this. We are going to do some announcements, some community plugs real quick, and then we're going to go through those very fast because we're behind schedule here, and then we're going to do a bunch of pretty cool presentations. And then afterwards, we usually go to like a pub or something just to hang out. So if you're interested in there's a lot of people here, so draw on your table the number. Okay. Afterwards, if you're interested in hanging out, don't leave until we know where we're going. We'll coordinate it after. Okay. So yes, safe and inclusive. Our community strives to be that. We have a safe event policy on the website there, and people can participate. That's good. Let's press the button. And then we are all volunteer, except for David. We pay him a lot of money for this, right? No? Too much, yeah. And so, yes, this is your IGDA board. So if you ever have any ideas, let us know. Next slide. Oh yeah, we have this now. Also volunteers, that's me. We are looking for someone. Oh, thank you. If Bradley was here, I was gonna make fun of him and call him Ned, but he's not here, so I won't do that. We are looking for a volunteer to run our social media. So if you're interested in that, I know. I just do what's on the slides. Okay. And if you want to become an IGDA member, are there any members here? Hey, all right. Excellent. Thank you. I probably should be one. Yeah, there's lots of information on there if you're interested. We do get certain kickbacks, I think, maybe. We also have a direct donate link there, donate.igdatc.org. That money just goes to doing cool stuff. Hit it. Regular event schedule. So we actually have a pretty cool announcement. There's a new event on the first Wednesday that I'm running called Devs Play Games. And it's all about just playing games. Thank you, hype person. Yeah. So if you're interested in that, we're going to be playing. Yeah, and it's here on the first Wednesday. We'll have more details on the Eventbrite soon and on the Discord. So if you're interested in socializing, playing some board games, we're going to have certain other video games, that kind of stuff, everything. Second Wednesday, that's where you're here. That's the main game dev meeting. Next. Hit the button. Thanks. The third Wednesday is our Twin Cities playtest. That is usually at Noble Robot, which is in Minneapolis. It's a pretty cool place. That's where we play and demo in development games. This month, we are doing online only for that, but definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun, and you get to see some cool games that are just starting and some that are almost done and all of that. And if you're interested in playtesting there, yeah, reach out on the Discord. We also have a kind of a more impromptu online only like playtesting thing that Lane and Nick Nunnick run. So check that out if you're interested in some of these games that you're going to be presenting. Maybe you want to take them further and like keep and playtest them and polish them up, and that's a great way to do it. Get more eyes on it. And then last but not least, the fourth Wednesday is our VR and human computer interface. Yes, which it's really just a bunch of cool nerds that talk about VR-related things and development-related things, and it's awesome. That's at Room 5. Recommend that one for sure. And yeah, and all this stuff will be on. Oh wait, there's more. Press the button, quick. Quick. We gotta hurry. You're not pressing the button fast enough, David. There we go. We also have 2 special interest groups, Women in Games. That's for women in games. It's a networking social event. It's at Wisdom now. It was online for a long time. Now it's in person. It's at the Mall of America. It's actually a pretty sweet. I mean, it's awesome. Yes. Yeah. See. Thank you. And then that's the 3rd Friday. So that's next week. And then the 4th Saturday is the People of Color Get Together. That is hosted by Stephen McGregor. I hear that's pretty cool. So if you're interested in that, you should definitely check that out. And I think we're done with events. Let's go. Discord channel, you should be on there. You can get a channel for your game on there, which is fun. Next. News, plugs, announcements, next. Okay. Let's see, who is talking about this? You are talking about this, Josh.
I am talking about this on behalf of the person that was going to talk about this, but was unable to make this meeting. So essentially, this is Indie Island Tabletop Terrace, and what this is a part of 2DCon, which is a 3-day festival of games run August 25th through 27th. Look up online in case I got that wrong. But Indie Island and Tabletop Terrace are where our local developers and people from surrounding areas can show and get people to play their games, get feedback, whatever they want to do with it. Essentially, if you have a game and you want people to play it, bring it to Indie Island, bring it to Tabletop Terrace, board games, video games, whatever. All right.
Drop the mic, but thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah, check that out. Next one. David. Robert Frost. Is Robert here? Oh, okay. Did you want to? Yeah. I mean, you could just say hi.
Yeah. My name is Rob, and I do game audio, and I'm looking for projects. That's pretty much it. My game audio, video game audio. I've worked on a bunch of games. You can find me on thatname.com. You just got to put it together. Yes, with the third. It's I though. Because, yeah. I do NYs and, all those things, and Unity and Unreal, and I do all those things. So let me know and have fun with this.
Okay. So Robert Frost, III.com. Got it. Is Lorna here? I don't know if I saw Lorna. No? Yes, no? Anyone with the last name Bryant? Because the next one is also a Bryant. Michelle? Anybody? Oh, you are here. I don't know what your announcement is, but if you wanted to announce it or plug it. Oh, you were answering the question if your name is Michelle. You're not Michelle Bryant, though. Okay, cool. We can move on. There's no announcement. Okay, well, hello. Everybody, round of applause for Michelle Bryant. Thank you for being here. Noah? There's... okay, cool. Ah, that's why you signed up for that. I got it. Okay. Well, good job, Noah. You don't get a round of applause. Sorry. Okay, maybe a little one. Is there anything else you want to plug? Obviously, there's a bunch of people here about to present your stuff. That's your plug. Anybody else? Josh?
I just wanted to add one more thing that I forgot in my initial announcement. It is in Minneapolis, Minnesota, 2DCon is. So it is local to anyone that is able to attend this particular session.
Any other quick plugs for other stuff? No? No? Okay, sweet. Okay, let's, I think we're done. What's the next slide here? Oh yeah, next Excellent. Do the next one too. I think that one's a good one. Yes. All right. Seth or the other, I forgot the other professor's name. What's his name? What's your other professor's name? Maybe there's 3. Are there 3? Did you want to kick it off? 4? Okay. All right.
All right. Yeah, Carl, you get up here too. We're the 4 amigos here. We've got fans. So we're all from the University of Wisconsin Stout, just an hour and a half away across the river in Menominee, Wisconsin. And we have a game design program, and these are our seniors. Well, yeah, that's right. We've got one on the arts side, one on the CS side. And they have been working for 9 months on these games. In fact, more than that, because they started their pitches last summer, came together, formed teams inside these classes, and worked on the design for about 2 months, and then the game all the rest of this time, and just launched it. How long has it been since SGX? 5 days? 6 days? 9 days. Okay, yeah. And now they're here to tell you all about them. So that's the gist of all of this. What else do we want to say about the? They are all seniors. Some of them still have a little more to go, but most of them, yeah, would have graduated just last Saturday, right? So, yeah. So yeah. Yeah. Well, here, why don't we pass this down?
So we'll let you also know who we are. So my name is Dr. Andrew Williams. I'm the program director for the game design art area.
I am Seth Barrier. I am almost the program director for the computer science side, and the game design concentration is in that.
Yep. I'm Michael Tetzloff. I also teach in the computer science area.
And I'm Carl Cayley. I teach in the BFA Game Design Art.
All right. Well, the students are the real show here, so why don't we pass this over to them? I believe we're starting with Reaper's Isle. If you guys are ready to come on up and do your thing. Oh, you're hiding way in the back there. So we'll talk about exactly what they have to do with the Discord to get you guys on and going there, but whoever's speaking, this is yours. Yeah, I would. There'll be a little bit of a shift over here as we get their laptop streaming. Go over here. I was really happy that Nintendo waited until the end of our finals to release Tears of the Kingdom, but not until I had grades submitted, so my weekend is going to be torn. Yeah, if you come on over here. Looks like you're live.
Yeah. Hey guys, come up just for introduction.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna introduce the team first. So.
7,
Okay.
one of which is on.
Okay, so we are the Reaper's Isle team. I'm Trinity Beltran, and I'm the producer and art lead.
I'm Rowan Verdau. I was the lead programmer for this project.
And make sure you eat the mic like really close.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I was the lead animator and script writer as well as UI kind of generalist.
Hi, I'm Alex Stebe. I was a animator and rigger for all the monsters in the game, and also was assisting Kyle on a lot of that.
Hello, I am Alex also. I was the hard surface artist, and I made most of the vehicles and structures and some of the small props.
I'm Tyler Swahovic. I was a programmer on Reaper's Isle, and I worked mostly on some UI stuff, including the main menu.
I'm Zach Lubick. I am a programmer. I worked on the swamp and also assisted with the artificial intelligence on one of the monsters in the game.
I'm Brian Borland. I was a programmer on Reaper's Isle and was mostly in charge of sound implementation.
So first off, we're going to show our trailer, just to give you kind of an idea of what our game is about. So for kind of an idea, we're going to go over a little bit more later about what Reaper's Isle is. But Reaper's Isle is a open world horror game. In the game, you play as a mother searching for your daughter. She sends you a concerning message asking for help at this paleontologist work site she's at. So you arrive to this island trying to find your daughter, and you find that nobody's on the island anymore. And instead, there are these ghostly monsters that are kind of like combinations of different extinct animals. And so your goal is to try to help your daughter, who is locked in the laboratory in the bottom of the island, by turning on power throughout the island at different watchtowers. There you are. Okay. This is kind of the summary I went over a little bit before already, but yeah, that's kind of the summary of the game in general and kind of the general idea.
So our genre is first-person open world horror and stealth. We used Unreal Engine 5 for this, which is very exciting. We went for a teen rating, and then the main goal is to evade all the phantoms and turn power back onto the island, which leads you to the end of the game, which is in this compromised lab.
So our game takes about 45 minutes to complete for most new players, if not a little bit longer if you're trying to be a completionist. So what we're showing here is our bit of our 3D main menu. We also have some flashing in the game, so we have a little bit of an epilepsy warning. So this is kind of what happens when you first enter the game, and we kind of have tutorialized in a non-invasive way, which we'll talk a bit more about.
Yeah, so we just have these pop-ups at the top of the screen that for new players tells you what to do, and for people who've already played the game, it's really just unintrusive, so you can kind of just speed run right through it.
And as you can see, we did a lot of set dressing for the game to kind of have visual storytelling. And because of our limited time, we had to work with really limited amount of props. So we kind of had to repurpose them in different ways throughout the environment and try to use some other storytelling tactics as well. Like as you saw, some dead plants is kind of showing that people haven't been there for a long time. We also, as you can see, do have subtitles in the game, and that is because we do at the moment have a narrative going on between the mother and daughter, and you speak to your daughter on your radio throughout the game. And we currently do have AI voice actors, but we are hoping to get real voice actors in anticipation of hopefully going to MDev soon this year, or this coming year.
So earlier in the video, there was a power box. This is how you're restoring power to the island. Each tower has one, and there's a tower in each biome. So we have a beach biome, which is where we are now. And then there's a forest and a swamp, and there's a tower in each one. And then those all include different monsters and different puzzles to get to the tower and restore power.
So some of the different mechanics we have in the game are throwing rocks, as you saw, to kind of help distract the monsters. And you also are able to hide in things like bushes and grass. Because this is a mainly stealth-based game. You don't directly fight with the monsters or anything like that. And it's especially story-driven, trying to find these logs you'll see in a moment here. So trying to find out different stories of what happened to the various people on the island.
Yeah, and we also have some logs from the daughter that give some more context about stuff, and we have anonymous logs that you can find more environmental storytelling rather than it just being on a piece of paper, which is kind of a fun little clue. We also have this journal, so as you are encountering these monsters in the different biomes, this journal will update with also the logs, and it'll give you more insight into how the monsters kind of operate and what actually happened on this island.
And as you can see, we do have some structures on the island along with all this foliage. Like that building there is actually just an elevator building down to the lab below. And because we had to make this game such a short time period, we used software like SpeedTree to quickly make like lots of foliage to fill out this world. And the rest of our models are mostly made in Maya and ZBrush and sometimes Blender. And we do have, oh sorry, go ahead. Oh, okay. Okay, no problem, no problem. And again, some of the set dressing, we try to vary up things you can find in the world. So there's some of these like mobile labs you could find, but we try to make each place different and have its own story going on to really keep the player wanting to explore this world.
So right here, this is where you're entering the forest for the first time, and we have these plants here. These plants actually interact with the AI when the player gets close to them, so it'll set off like a noise alert, and in the game, it's in the form of a scream. And then this will call the monsters to come near you. This is our forest monster, the big one.
We also, we have, I think, 4 different monsters. So we have a little raptor monster. We have this big, like, elk creature. We have a, like, crocodilian creature in the swamp. And then we have our final boss, which is the Reaper. And we don't show the Reaper in this video. Sorry, okay. But yeah, and as you can see, there's also military campsites you can explore. And we do have some interactive moments with the camera you'll see in a moment here. So in the swamp puzzle, you kind of have to get these swamp monsters to charge at the gates to break them open. But we also have other puzzles such as these wires. These wires are reused in the forest puzzle as well. So it kind of lets the player intuitively follow this wire to find generators to turn on. And after they turn on the generators, they're able to either get into buildings or past walls to their final goals.
Okay, so this is towards the end of the game. We're not going to show anything of gameplay past this, but you'd go into this elevator, go down to the lab, and then you'd complete the end of the game. So now we can open this up for any questions. Yeah.
So as someone that actually went to the Style Expo and played this, the audio sounded really interesting for the dialogue. What did you use to?
So we used a Murph AI, and that was kind of our temporary thing for now, because I would like to hire voice actors personally before MDev. But yeah, we figured Murph AI at least is a little bit more innovative, and they had hired actual actors to help them make the AI system. So we figured that was better than using like Siri type voices that are just straight up normal AI.
Yeah, it's good to know that there's some ethical AI going on out there, especially considering, oh, okay, yeah. So it's good to know that there's some ethical AI services out there in the sea of questionably ethic AI services out there. So thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, definitely.
Any other questions?
Does it all happen at night?
Yes, we do have like a perpetual night to try to keep the horror feel.
Anybody else? Okay. Excellent.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, let's see. Who's next? Do we have an... Come on over. What's your username on Discord? Okay. Should be What? Yes. No, but it will be a yes soon. Thank you. Yeah, who's on deck? Who's up next after this? All right. Who's got the left?
Okay, hello? Okay, cool. Are we good on volume? Hello, everybody. We are Grape Juice City. We are not the full team. This is a team of 15 to 16 people, 17 if you count our audio person. I'm Sam Baseman. I was the project lead. I also did environment art and texturing.
I'm Sam Smith. I was the network programmer, so I'm the one that took all of our sort of single player type scripts and made it run for up to 4 people.
I'm Noah Muhammad. This is my plug. And so I was the gameplay lead. I was the gameplay lead, so pretty much I was in charge of like UI, getting the weapon wheel to work, and overall just kind of incorporating a lot of things with the inventory system that we had.
Alrighty, and without further ado, let's check out the trailer. Is there a way to connect audio? That's sad. Okay, well, people who are here,
Sorry.
you're gonna get a kick out of this. So yeah, that's Grape Juice City. It is a 4-player multiplayer game where you play as one of 4 fruit teams. We're gonna get the PowerPoint slides going in just a second here. This is all one video. So yeah, we worked on this with 15 people. You play as one of 4 different bird people, which are like a different class depending on which bird you pick. And you're trying to compete over the course of a day, which is a 5-minute long match, to try and convert as many people to your team's fruit brand as possible. So you have to do that by collecting ammo, which is fruit and recyclables, which you then craft into different juice beverages and splash at the pedestrians of Grape Juice City. And the person who has splashed the most people by the end of the match wins.
So the best way I like to describe the game is it's pretty similar to Splatoon with the idea of like what you're doing. So what I was in charge of is kind of just getting a lot of the like crafting to work. So as you can see here, it's like we have the different resources you can use where you have 3 main weapons. It's the juice box, which you saw a lot of in the trailer. You have the bottle and then also the can as well, each having their own side of or kind of like implementation to it, where the juice is just kind of a normal stream. The bottle bounces once, the can bounces a couple times. Kind of a good display there for that. But yeah.
Now we're about to get into characters. So each character has a different ability that affects how they play the game. It can be things like more jumps, a dash, or an attract ability that draws NPCs to the spot that you activate it. We also have punt, which gives you more resources when you kick things, and we're working on it, but you'll be able to kick other players to stun them temporarily. We also have power-ups, which are these special fruits. Oh, that went by so fast. Well, they're power-ups. You're going to see them in the gameplay we play right now. But yeah, it's all networked through Steam. So you just send a friend request via Steam, connect with the people, and then you can load into a match. So this is our character select screen where you can pick one of the 4-player characters. You can see we're sending friend requests right now. We have so many hours on Steam because of this game already. I think, how many hours do you have, Sam?
I think I'm nearing 400 hours on my account and then like 40 on the game's official account.
So we're having fun. So then it brings you into this little tutorial slideshow where it gives you a rundown on how the game works, controls, as well as some handy little tips on some different other mechanics throughout the game. A lot of the similar graphics we just showed you there. There's the power-ups. They're super cool. Keep an eye out for them. And then you'll load in, and again, I'm very sad. I don't think the audio is worth it on this because we're going to keep talking, but if you play the game, listen for the audio. Our audio person is incredible. So then it loads you in, gives you this little slideshow lead in, and then you're off to the races, running around town, trying to collect as many resources, make as many beverages, and juice as many people as possible.
And so a big inspiration too for this is that we kind of like Super Mario Sunshine, so music-wise, kind of like texture-wise, that was a big inspiration for us. And I was also in charge of working on like a day-night cycle we were talking about, so I don't know if you can see it very clearly through the gameplay trailer, but if you were to look up at the sky, you would actually see the sun going across the sky and also the lighting kind of going from like a early morning to like late evening type of vibe. But yeah, right now, like my main strats, or like dev strats, is to collect as many fruits as you can, just as many resources with the recyclables. And as you can see here, when you switch on the radio menu, that's how you're like crafting different items right now. So each item you switch to is what the crafting station goes to. And then the jump boost power-up was activated, so now the player is able to jump a lot higher than they normally can. And I think pretty soon I use like the ability to at some point.
Yeah, so as you can see, this one is a 2-player match, so it can support anywhere from single player if you just want to run around and look at stuff, up to currently 3 players. We're bug testing 4 players right now, but you represent one of each of the 4 fruit teams, which is grape, mango, lime, and acai. So you're each trying to compete for your team's glory as a fruit beverage.
Yeah. So when the game was first pitched, we were planning on just making it a local multiplayer, either couch co-op or just over a LAN network. But as we were trying to work on it, we found that that wasn't going to work even for our like playtests at Stout. And we also felt that it would be more fun if we could get a game properly going online so you can play with friends across the country or internationally. So we moved from couch co-op to LAN networking, and then we tried to use peer-to-peer networks, but that still wouldn't break through Stout's Wi-Fi, and it's also just not as convenient or fun. So I think about 3 months into the semester, 1 month into development, we decided to basically swap over to Steamworks API so that we could use Steam servers and connect with our friends and just ease testing. It was a difficult process, but it was fun to learn, and I think that the game's much better for it.
That's an understatement. Sam basically undertook all of networking solo, so they've worked on like every aspect of this game and have been one of the big reasons. Everybody on the team is incredible. Everybody has pulled their weight on this, but Sam is the reason that you can play this with other people. They're the reason that you can see Grape Team throwing down against Team Acai.
So we always would joke that, yeah, if it wasn't for Sam, this game would not nearly be what it is right now. So, yeah, good job, Sam.
Do you want to open QA?
Sure. Yeah, so would you guys, QA at the time, any questions?
This is going to keep looping, so if you have questions on stuff, we'll come back to it.
So after somebody gets splashed, can somebody re-splash them a different?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, so if
Can
you
you
are
repeat
trying
the
to splash
question?
somebody...
Repeat the question. Repeat it.
The question was, if you're trying to splash someone, can you splash someone that's already been splashed? Which the answer is yes. You'll see a couple times throughout this video that's looping that there will be some people who are blue representing Team Acai, and this player will be splashing them with juice, turning them back to Team Grape. So everybody starts neutral, but as the match goes on, it's basically going back and forth, pushing and pulling like a game of tug-of-war on who has the most fans.
Yeah, also just point attention to the score bar we have. It's kind of small and not easy to notice sometimes, but yeah, so there is a back and forth between the acai and the grape team right now. So pedestrians can be splashed different colors, and we did have a mechanic where you could kick a pedestrian to like knock off its color as well. But I think with the networking that kind of fell to the wayside, but yeah, so there's a lot back and forth going on. Yes, it does.
The game does end. The timer at the top represents how long is left in the game, and once it runs out of the 5-minute timer, it'll play a little like slow-mo, like game's over, and then it'll show who's won with a different victory screen depending on which team won.
Was it challenging deciding on drink flavors?
Yes, for a while it was. We went back and forth. I think the original 4 were grapes, strawberries, oranges, and limes, I want to say. We got the grape, lime, and mango down pretty quickly, but then we had trouble figuring out what a third color would be. We were trying to agree on blue raspberry for a while because we figured we did it based on color theory, so like the secondary color palettes, and then we just used a color square to find what the other color was, which we found was like a light blue. So we were like, okay, are we gonna do blue raspberry? What's a blue fruit? And since we went with more of like a tropical setting for this game, we ended up deciding on acai, which is like a tropical blue berry, which is perfect. So it kind of was just all a bunch of visual design things that decided that.
Another thing that got like drilled into us in the first class of Stout's game design program was to consider accessibility. So deciding between the fruits was extra complicated but meaningful as we considered like color blindness and the silhouettes of every fruit.
Yeah, on the side of texturing with that, it's not showing in this gameplay trailer video, but in the main trailer, you'll see that each different team has their own like patterned shirt that matches their team's color, which I did as a sort of secondary indicator of what team you are, alongside just communicating that via color. So Mango team has like a wavy pattern, acai has like some drops, and grape has like a bubbly pattern, things like that.
All right, any other questions?
For potential chat questions, because I was asked about that and waiting to see if someone actually posts.
I think there was also someone in the back here, yeah. Are there any?
Are there any plans for maybe like a... Are there any plans for like a single player, if not a campaign, like a tutorial to get a feel for the game? Which I know that's probably a very loaded question. I apologize.
No. Yeah, we have 3 answers in that. We can sort of break that down. So we did have like a sort of tutorial level that we originally wanted the player to load into so that they could mess around with all the mechanics and the interactable things throughout the map, sandbox style. We weren't able to get that done within the like 8-month development cycle of things, but it exists, and it's currently released on Steam, so you can download it and play it right now in like a beta version, and we're hoping to continue development leading up to MDev at the very least on it, with multiple like revisions and enhancements, and that was one of the main things we wanted to get in, but just couldn't quite squeeze that in before our deadline for it. In terms of single player, we would like to. It'd be fun. We've talked about it. The reason that it's Grape Juice City, we have like an inner lore sort of idea of like Team Grape was originally leading, but now everybody else is trying to fight for the #1 spot. So trying to do some sort of like co-op versus like making Team Grape like the big bad. I don't know. We have thought about it and we would like to. So we'll see.
All right.
I was just going to say, yeah, so biggest factor was pretty much just time. But if you were to download it on Steam and then just hit host and play the game, you could just play it on your own. You're not going to be playing against anybody but yourself. But if you wanted to, you could. You can invite friends, though. The multiplayer works.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, wait.
Hold on. Has there been any player feedback so far on this?
There has, actually. Some weird comments, some really good comments, but overall, they've been overall positive, I'd say. Sam probably could give a bit more about that.
Yeah, so when we put the game live on Steam, we added a like developer event blog post that specifically marked it as being in a sort of open beta and requesting any feedback that anybody had for us. We've gotten a few responses in the forms of reviews. The reviews have been mostly positive, just pointing out a couple bugs here and there. And we've also put out an email that people can send stuff, and we've gotten at least one response there in the past week that it's been live. So yeah, we're listening and we're open to more.
Awesome. All right, one more round of applause.
Yeah. Also, we have an Instagram. Check us out. We made soda for the event.
Next group can come on up.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, raise your hand if you're on deck, if you're the next presenter. Do we know? Okay, thanks.
All right. Hi, I'm Erin. I was the lead, I pitched the game, and I am the lead animator.
I'm Elliot. I was the producer and programmer. I mainly focused on character movement and audio integration.
Hi, I'm Logan. I worked on level design as well as the Pillbug model rig.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I worked on some environment assets. I was also the UI artist for our game.
Hi, my name is Brad. I did some of the early work on the goals and the scoring, and then I helped finalize the UI programming side.
Hi, I'm Becca, and I worked on the AI programming.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I worked on the Pillbug model and marketing.
And we have a lot more, but they are not here today. Rest in peace. So, wait, oh, that sounded bad.
They're not dead.
As far as we know. So our game is Bugby. It is a multiplayer team sports game. Everyone plays as goblins and smashes into each other, tries to get a hold of a ball called the Pillbug, and it does not want to play, so it runs away from people. We implemented a ragdoll thing, so that initially was a bug, and then we thought, that's great, so we kept it.
And then this is our teaser trailer just coming up here. We have this large arena that everybody runs around in as they try and score goals and steal the ball from one another.
Okay, so it was initially inspired by rugby, and we wound up moving away from more of the rules, so it's more of a spiritual version of rugby, except it's, there's rules in rugby, not as many in Bugby. So it's kind of set up as a fantastical goblin world where these tribes of goblins will fight each other to settle differences. We have the ladybugs and the beetles, and they're red, blue to distinguish it between them.
As we said before, it's a team multiplayer sports platformer, E10 plus rating. We created this in Unreal Engine 5 for PC with controller and keyboard mouse support. Like with Grape Juice City, we also have our game fully online, supported through the Epic Games servers, and I believe will be posted on the Epic Games store soon, as we're getting that set up after finals and everything.
Okay, so most of our influences were obviously Bugby, or rugby. I cannot call rugby anything but Bugby now. And we wanted to base its silliness kind of off of Fall Guys and the nonstop movement in games like Rocket League and stuff like that.
Yeah, going off of that, our main kind of design pillars and the things we wanted to go for is like rugby, just non-stop gameplay, no stops, no breaks or timeouts, and just kind of capture that sort of whimsical, chaotic unpredictability of just running around, running into each other, scrambling for this goal that is definitely scrambling for the ball that is running away from you at all times. There's essentially 4 main parts to the game. We have the Goblin players. The game can be played as a 2v2 or 3v3. We have the goals, which are kind of the magical glowing stone arches set around the arena, the Bugby ball, and then the pit, which is this giant pit in the center of the arena that if anything falls into it, a ball or the player, it'll instantly get launched randomly. The goblins can run around, pass to each other, jump, tackle, and tackling we wanted to go a lot in depth with. So initially we just wanted it to be a simple just dive in a direction, but we actually started making it a little more advanced where you can dive in any direction, even in the air, and you could say dive onto a mushroom and then dive again, allowing for players to have really cool kind of complex movement as they kind of run around. Goals, like we said, disappear and reappear in different locations.
And whenever you make a goal, you have to run into the goal while holding the ball. You cannot throw it through. So it's as soon as someone goes into the goal, they are launched across the field in an opposite direction of the ball.
We have a little gameplay of, I believe this is the programmers playing in a little 2v2 that we recorded a while back. As you can see, we can find the session online. So for kind of a little tutorial, the game doesn't actually start until all the players have logged in. So this kind of allows the players to run around and play around with the game before the game actually starts. So you can see there's also a little, if you can, well, I'll just keep talking while they do that. Actually, Michelle, do you want to talk about some of the UI we'll see in the gameplay video?
Okay, so part of the UI is obviously the scoreboard and the timer at the top. The goblins also have if you see that radial circle next to them, that is the stamina meter for the sprint ability. So when the sprint runs down, it'll deplete, and then releasing the button which initiates sprints helps it regenerate. Also, the blue indicators that you see on the right and left screen that are appearing also indicate what direction the goal is in. So since the goals pop up at different parts of the level, it helps the player basically find where the active goal is so they can run the ball to it.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that we could communicate to the player where the goal, ball, other enemies, and their teammates are at all times, which is kind of a lot to get in. So Michelle did a great job at doing the UIs to be able to communicate all that information.
Try this one.
All right, there we go. So with that, why don't we go into Q&A? So, any questions right out the gate? Yes. So we kind of... Oh yeah. So the question was, why are the goblins so small in this kind of little world? I'll play some of the gameplay. Actually, Aaron, do you want to talk about that with art?
Okay, so we really wanted to have them bouncing around on these big, silly mushrooms, and that kind of brought in the problem of, well, how big are these mushrooms? Do we need extra things that are also absurdly big? So our answer to that was making the goblins absurdly small. Like what do you call them, the fences that are little popsicle sticks, that was kind of a last minute thing. We're like, that's perfect, that'll do. So we put them in, and it really, yeah. Plus, since the bug is also still a bug, it was easier to do than, well, this is just an absurdly big bug.
We kind of wanted to touch on some of the little theming you might find in Pikmin, where it's like these are so small and cute that maybe this could be like a sport that could be happening in your backyard without you knowing, with all these little goblin tribes and civilizations in it. I don't think you can see the boot in the background, but in the game there's a large giant boot just kind of on the outskirts of the arena that you can see in the distance, giving sort of a scale. Actually, Logan, do you want to talk about the level design a bit?
Yeah, so originally when we made this level, we were shooting closer, like in my mouth closer. Okay, so originally when we were making the level, we were looking at a bunch of different designs. We tried to stray away from this kind of bowl that you see here in this playtest, and we went for a lot of different platforming was the initial idea, but we were running into issues with the ball getting stuck underneath platforms, players kind of not being able to traverse and getting ragdolled into areas where they were then compromised. So we ended up with this level design when we looked for, like, I guess, how to reinforce the scale of these goblins. So we wanted these large mushrooms, we wanted huge blades of grass, giant rocks, huge gigantic trees, and then again, like how we had said before, we have other objects, non-playable or interactable objects, like a boot out in the kind of like boonies of this world, and then those large shelf mushrooms to also help reinforce this.
Yeah, any other questions? Yes.
I think, was that based on your own kind of like self-judgment, or was there an actual rating system that you based that on?
We kind of looked at other games of kind of similar ratings, and that's not like an official thing, that's just our own gauge and more of our target more than anything of what we kind of wanted to do with having it be very lighthearted and, you know, silly and cartoony, but having a bit of, you know, some of that like violent. I mean, you can see when they tackle each other and get thrown around, they really get chucked. But yeah, it's more of just our own target of this is where we want the game to be in tone starting out. I think that was decided like month 1 or so.
Other questions?
Yeah. Oh. Beyond the size of the goblins, why did you choose to have goblins in the first place?
I really like goblins.
Great answer.
That's it. I love goblins, and I came up with this very quickly, and I was like, okay, I know goblins. That's all I know. So I pitched it. Yep.
Yeah, plus it adds to, you know, the kind of tone and kind of gameplay of just kind of being, you know, a silly little guy trying to screw over your friends. Just you know, a little goblin man. And then we had another question.
What's the highest score somebody's gotten in a non-test game?
Well, see, at SGX, we had our programmer, Ryan, who is very, very good at the game, who also was very good at everybody else's game. And I believe he was playing against some very younger opponents, and I believe got 14 or 15 to 0, something along those lines. So if you really know what you're doing and can really play like with the movement of like diving onto mushrooms and just kind of jumping around, you can really get the score up there. I think that was on the 2:30 timer.
Is there a question?
Yeah, another question.
Oh, sorry, was there someone behind me with a question?
No, I was pointing to you.
Okay. So someone from the chat, Cat Craig, asked, how do you handle the experience on a controller versus a keyboard and mouse?
Actually, that is a good question because even though it's mostly the same, some of the controls are slightly different to kind of reflect. Mainly, the camera was kind of a big hurdle for us to get over, and how we wanted to have the players be able to move the camera since they're going to have to be, you know, juggling so much information at the same time. And so there is a button that you press to just instantly lock on to where the ball is at any time, which kind of allows you to instantly just center where you're looking. And on keyboard, you have to like hold the right trigger. And on controller, it's just a toggle that you press. And we wanted to make that different so that since on keyboard and mouse, it's easier to just be holding one button than it is on a controller. And we didn't want somebody to actually like toggle it with one button on keyboard and then never toggle it again and just not know how to get it off. So there are some slight differences like that, but for the most part, it felt pretty good both ways to do it on controller and keyboard. We play tested it with both options of having everybody on controller or everybody on keyboard. And we actually got a bit of varied response. Some people, you know, who grew up playing with controller only wanted that, and then some people who are, you know, game developers or other, people like us really like the keyboard and mouse, and just because they're used to that.
One more question here. Next group, you can come up on deck here. Come on over.
I just really quickly wanted to follow up on that. Did you explore making rebindable controls?
We did not. That's something we can probably add if we had time, but we just didn't really have time, and we're focusing on a lot of the network bugs to work through first. But yeah, that's definitely something we should and could easily add with extra time. Yeah, it was a stretch goal that we had written down along with a few other ideas. All right, I'll let the other group go up, so thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
What's that? I can give you a microphone. Oh, that one. Yep.
Probably. I am sharing. I don't know why. All right, some technical difficulties right off the bat.
You're in there. You just need to share your screen.
Okay. Are you up there? Cool. Hello, we are Divining Rods. And if you want to go ahead, go right to the next page, we can introduce ourselves. So.
Hi, I'm Lou Brown. I made the pitch. I did materials, VFX, some 2D and an initial, and then mostly 3D texturing and environment later on. And yeah, here I'll go in yours.
Hi, I'm Ashton. I did concept art in the beginning and some 3D texturing, a little bit of animation, and some other 2D art.
Hi, I'm Chloe. I'm the art lead. I did some 3D modeling, animation, rigging, a lot of troubleshooting, and then implementation.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm artist. I mostly did 3D modeling and 3D animation.
Hello, I am Abigail. I was the lead for UI and UX. I am a programmer. And I was in charge of the menu, specifically the main menu. And I was also advisor of accessibility for the assets that we would use. I'd look them over and give them my stamp of approval.
I'm Luke. I was one of the main gameplay programmers, especially for the rhythm part of the game. But I am sick, so I'm going to stay here.
Okay, so we're gonna play our trailer here first. It's actually coming through. I don't know how well you can hear the audio, but this is our rhythm flow fishing game.
Our game is, while others are many competitive or maybe more fast-paced, we wanted to make something that looked cool, sounded cool, and was a lot more casual. So that's what we did. You go around our 4 zones and you collect fish that are based upon extinct fish in real life but made fantastical, and you get to log them in your blog book, and you get to see very cool places and listen to very cool music. And we'll continue through the trailer.
Yeah, we're certainly getting an interesting audio experience. I'm not sure how well it's playing for everyone out there, but I keep hearing it cut in and out over here. Okay, that's good. That's good. And again. All right, so we kind of already went through a bit about what our game is about, but you are a wanderer confined to your boat, and you're helping heal a new land and their dying god. So you can explore through our zones, if you'd like to go to the next tab for the zones. We have, yes, sorry. So we have 4 levels, and it's not updating. Oh, there it is. It's just really delayed. So we have our tutorial cave, swamp community, salt flats, and end of the ocean. We wanted each environment to be distinct, colorful, unique, and just a beautiful experience for the players. Here's a quick taste of our fish. Nope, I lied. Here's a quick taste of our fish. So, once again, we already mentioned we wanted to have these fantastical examples of real fish that are beginning to go extinct or have already gone extinct. If you want to move on.
Yeah, sure. As soon as our rhythm gameplay slide comes up, we'll tell you a bit more so you can see a bit more visual of the actual rhythm game itself. We'll also show gameplay later on in our gameplay video. But basically, when you get to a fishing hole, you'll be able to start the rhythm game, and a fish spirit will bite your line. It drags it along a path, and this is what your rhythm game is comprised of. We ended up using splines in UE4. And along that line, we place Niagara particles. So the orange ones will be pressing Q on and E for the blue ones. And the hold notes, just like Guitar Hero, you use Q and E, but you hold it down. So how did we do it? I'm filling in for the coders as soon as this changes. Oh, no. Oh. I think we got kicked off the Wi-Fi. This makes me sad. Okay. Yeah,
So, a main theme that we wanted to tackle in our game is the sustainability when it comes to fishing, which is why we were bringing up specifically endangered fish. We can talk more about the fish since they're still here. Oh yeah, we're completely out of the Discord now. So, yeah. We decided to base our models off of endangered or extinct fish, as well as you're swimming through or boating through the level, you'll get to sort of see how your more sustainable fishing methods can help. I'm not entirely sure where to go, but seems like we're getting this sorted out here. Cool.
Okay, here's that rhythm gameplay slide that I totally mentioned, and you could totally see. There it is. So how did we do it? Spline Niagara, oh my. Because we were using UE4, they have really nice spline usage, so we had our main coder do Python and Blueprint kind of collaboration to get a way to generate splines within our camera space. And we applied the Niagara particles along that spine using the BPM. So when we would receive music from our Berkeley and otherwise volunteer music collaborators, we'd bring it into Audacity and add tags to the sound wave. And you can see a screenshot at the bottom. There's a ton of tags at the bottom. We make a string, put that into the Python script, and then it generates equally spaced notes using the BPM that we find from the musicians. And then it makes it. Whoa. And we want to talk about water, because there's a lot of water in our game. I did this. We wanted a nice and easy to use water shader, and a lot of materials in UE4 are very helpful for people who are not so technologically inclined. I am not. This is crazy. It's not when you get really close in. But the easy part's getting it stylized, color options, and is moving. The hard part definitely shines, water waves, color depth, and edge foam. And yeah. We'll get to a gameplay video. Oh no, we'll watch this then. Yeah. Oh God. Is it loading? There we go.
So now we'll go into our gameplay footage. Okay, so we did open, I think we have to recast the YouTube page. Once again, technical difficulties. However, we're going to start showing you our gameplay footage here in a moment, and there's a cutscene to start it out, and then you'll get plopped right into the level where you can begin interacting with the world. Small disclaimer, I'm the one playing through here. I'm not great at rhythm games, but we made it work. You can skip through a bit if you want. So we wanted to have these a lot of beautiful vistas, spots that you could stop and just kind of take in the environment and see everything that is going on. At the beginning here, you can see a lot of murals on the wall. We wanted those to tell the story of what happened here. Do you want to talk a bit about your murals?
Yeah, we wanted to have murals that kind of reference like petroglyphs in real life, but still have like symbolism and story that are involved. And the cave is kind of like one of the more heavy-handed ways of telling you kind of the story of the world. And as you can see, like slowly as you keep going, all of these like fish petroglyphs slowly become skeletons. And it kind of shows you like this kind of cycle of life with the fish spirits and how like you can bring them back if you kind of do the correct sort of rhythm and dancing with these fish. And so we'll come up to like the first NPC who bestows upon you the fishing rod. And, oh, it's not?
Buffering.
This is so sad. How do I fix that? Sorry. It's on YouTube right now. We're on a YouTube page.
It's unlisted right now. We could put the link in Discord? Would that work? It is currently paused. Not at that spot though. Yeah, we're sitting at 2 minutes here, and on the TV it's, that's what I'm thinking. So here we have our tutorial sequence, which oh, it's frozen again?
This isn't the account of them.
I can grab my phone and do it.
Yeah, if you post in the Discord, we can.
I don't know.
What channel should we drop it?
We will post the video in the Discord. Yeah, sorry.
All the things that can go wrong are.
Want me to talk about main menu?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
You might just go ahead and just talk through it, and people can watch the video.
That's fair. We have the Discord up. Oh, it's in a tab. Got it. So what channel do we want to drop this on?
Just general, wherever.
Sure. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the main menu that got printed out by one of our lovely artists, Bailey. It updates? Yeah, please. Thank you. So as you play, you're going to encounter a different fish, and it's going to update in the game with the new fish. It's going to start off with the skeletal version here, the ghost fish, and then it turns into the alive fish once you bring it to the shrine and offer it up, and it shows throughout the game. There's also, it updates when you have how many fish you need to put into the shrine, and what types of fish you need to put into the shrine to have the ability to go into the next area. Here's an image with all of the fish dancing together. Yeah. And then here's a page with all of the strange shards. So every character in our game wears a mask, including the people, as well as the godfish. And so the godfish has a mask that is broken up into shards. And so every zone that you go to, you collect a new shard after you bring the fish to be brought back to life. You collect a shard and you move into the next area. And at the end of the ocean, you encounter this godfish, and you bring all of the shrines together, but she cannot accept her mask because she is covered in different elements of overfishing. So a harpoon, a net, and an anchor are attached to her, and you are actually fishing off each of those elements of overfishing to purify her and allow her to bring all of the fish back, and she flies off into the sunset being purified.
And again, we apologize that the video is just not working due to technical difficulties, but we do have an itch.io. We do plan on eventually bringing it onto Steam as well after some more quality of life fixes, and we hope to go to MDev as well after more and more development. And if anyone has any questions, I know we didn't get to show a lot of gameplay because technical, but we will try to answer anything as well.
Yeah, and the next group, why don't you come over on deck? Okay, questions? Anybody?
Not a question. I just wanted to relay from the YouTube chat. Everyone is going gaga over the art.
Thanks. Again, we're sorry we can't show everyone here.
The
Yeah,
video
watching
is
real
in the
time.
Discord.
What were some of the things you guys did as a team to make sure that all your pieces felt very cohesive together, especially like with the art style and all that?
So especially when it came to models and texturing, we had a line where we would pass the model through multiple people. So someone would do concept art, it would get passed off to someone to model, it would get passed off to someone to rig, texture, and then we'd put it into the game after that. So we worked really closely with one another to work on those models together, pass it off, get like approval amongst ourselves before continuing on to the next step. So the textures were done by multiple people, and even though that we had multiple people working on different like fish textures, NPC textures, etc., we managed to keep a cohesive style just through communication and making sure that we were always like showing each other and there for feedback. So, yeah.
Any more questions? Oh.
For the gameplay that we didn't actually see for the rhythm stuff, I love rhythm games. What was like the process of figuring out what was working and what wasn't working?
Do you want to talk about it?
It would explode if it didn't work. We had a long time about splines and just figuring out how we can get it to apply correctly without it going in on itself or inversing on itself, as well as timing with the music appropriately so it doesn't feel like you're playing something that was off tempo or the music was somehow 5 seconds ahead. So a lot of it was through trial and error and actually playing it, as well as just referencing other games that we liked. So originally some of the pitch was more to be like more Osu-like, but then we kind of leaned more into more casual Guitar Hero, just like flowing around the screen space. Instead of like jittering your way around, because that just felt more in line with what the theming of is for like a fish that is like a ghost coming back to life, cathartic in a way or something. Yeah, I don't know if that answered really much.
All right, anybody else? Okay, thank you.
You can hand this off to Luke.
All right.
All right, hello, we are Skulls and Scrolls. I'm Gavin Hefty. I worked on the VFX for the spells, the hand animation and model, and I was the design lead overall.
Hey, I'm Dustin. I was the programming lead on this project, and I mainly worked on the spell system and made sure all the spells worked. Yep.
Hi, I'm Elise. I was the art lead for this project. I worked on a lot of concept art. I did a lot of 2D art in general, and I did a lot of organizing and designing the town as well.
My name is Jillian. I was one of the artists. I mostly did the animations as well as some props and textures.
Hi, my name is Jordan. I am one of the programmers. I did a lot of our early experimental phasing testing a lot of things, whether we decided it would be good or not, especially in the early phases when most of that's done. And I also did a lot of work with the UI and a lot of balancing work towards the later phases.
Hi, I'm Jackson, and I mainly worked on the wave system as well as I was the audio lead.
Hello, I'm Taylor. I helped out Dustin quite a bit with the spell system, and I had also helped out with implementing all of our audio.
I'm Matthew. I mainly worked on the item drops from the enemies and implementing all the animations.
I am Alex. I mainly worked on the inventory UI and the pickups UI.
I'm Devlin. I mostly worked on enemies and how they interact with the player.
And we also had Briar who worked on art, and then Max and Antonio were our sound people. And here is our trailer. So yeah, we wanted to go for a chaotic, fast-paced game where you are shooting things a lot. Yeah, there isn't audio on the things. Don't start again. Okay. All right, so Skulls and Scrolls is a wave defense game where you play as a magical skeleton who has come back to life to defend his ancient village. You had protected it by freezing it both physically and in time, and your old enemies from back then have come back, and you are using funny spells to destroy them. Oh, yeah, that's me. So you are the Archmage of MAGE, the Municipal Alliance of Grand Enchanters, and your enemies are Thief, the Historical Imperial Expeditionary Force, and there are 3 different types of enemies we'll get to that are part of Thief that you run into.
Yeah, so the top is the concept art for them. You have the scavengers, which are the little gremlin-y boys that are trying to steal your stuff, and they will attack the buildings directly and basically deplete the health of your buildings that you're trying to protect. The wizard in the center is more of a long-distance threat that attacks the player from a range. They're meant to be more kind of like pompous, like prim, whatever. And the warrior on the right is supposed to be the more intimidating. They kind of go directly after the player and attack them, and they're kind of more of a nuisance than anything else. We wanted the setting to feel desolate and kind of abandoned. It takes place in a once thriving wizard town that has been kind of abandoned by time. It's been frozen, so we wanted it to look kind of desolate. But we also wanted to incorporate pastel colors and have this kind of chunky aesthetic for the visual style. On the right is some concept art we wanted like the Nordic aesthetic for the buildings. So you can see we have the core 5 buildings on the bottom right there, which are the main buildings that you're protecting in the city. And then on the top is the concept art for the Wizard Tower, which is kind of one of the main core buildings and where you respawn every time you die. Here are some pictures in-game from what the core buildings look like when they were fully modeled. And they're all stationed in different points throughout the town. And in the bottom right there, you can see the kind of zoomed out image of the whole town once it was completed there.
All right, gameplay. I'll make this quick. So basically, the enemies, they come in waves. Waves are essentially, you played horde shooters. They spawn they all come in, they try and steal your stuff. They're not coming for you, they're coming for your stuff. So what you have to do is before a wave, you have some time. You can mess around with your spells. You can make sure that everything's working properly and set up your spells, get stuff on the ground, and then you can press the ready key, start the wave. During the wave, the enemies will spawn in. You defeat the enemies, hopefully. If not, you lose. So You basically continue on, and the wave ends when all of the enemies in that wave are gone. And this is basically our gameplay loop. Now, I mentioned something about spells, and what that means is essentially that as you fight, the enemies may drop scrolls. These scrolls contain spell components, which are essentially little effects that your spells can have. You drag them, and when you pick them up, they go into your components list. From there, you can drag them into your spell chains. There are three slots per spell, and and for each component that you add in, another effect is added into the spell's list. So then, when you press left-click on that spell, it goes through and fires them off in order. Simple.
Okay, so, and here is a playthrough of us doing the main level of the thing. There are 5 waves in this that we presented at SGX. We also have a little tutorial level that is not shown here. And questions?
Yeah, I suppose we'll just open up the questions while we let the gameplay go over and just allow you to like see what our game is about. Yes.
When you make chains of the spells, do they make like stacked effects, or do they just do multiple of them? Or?
For clarification, a spell chain, when you put components together, they do not like combine together, make one contiguous effect. You add a component. Individual components have different things. I think we're going to see that right now. So he just added a whirlwind and an air blast. So he throws off the whirlwind and the air blast. They do not combine, but they have different effects. What you do benefit, a benefit that you can get from putting multiple effects into the same spell chain is what we call meta magic. Now, it's a late addition to our spell system, but essentially, certain spells have meta magic attached to them. And what that means is that if a component with meta magic is added into a spell, the following components will be affected by that meta magic. For example, our magic bolt in the left-hand corner right here, in the 1 slot, has a meta magic effect that essentially has the cooldown of all of the following effects within that spell chain. So if you have a effect that's really good but has a long cooldown attached to it, you can maybe add in our magic bolt, which doesn't do a whole lot on its own, but it has the cooldown of the following spell effects. But they do not combine. Clarification, they do not.
More questions? Anybody? Oh.
If you had a bunch of things that have cooldowns, do those cooldowns stack? And what did you do for balancing?
So yeah, each component has a cooldown attached to it, and after the spell has fired off each individual component, the spell then like tallies all the cooldowns of all the components, adds them together. That's the total cooldown of that spell. What was the other part of your question? Balancing. We worked on it. Basically, certain effects were pretty powerful, so we tried to like increase the cooldown on the more powerful spells. It didn't work for all of them. There were some effects, like the Rotten Egg spell, which we just got, which is really good, but it only has a 3-second cooldown. We probably, if we had a bit more time, we probably would have worked on like more cooldown management and balancing those effects better. To answer your question, yeah.
Yeah, to go on from what Dustin was saying, we also worked on balancing with the difficulty of the waves. A lot of feedback we got on the wizard map, which is this map in particular, was that it felt too big, and a lot of players in early playtests were getting lost and not understanding like where to go. So we made sure to incorporate the like beam system, which you probably already noticed. So all the major core buildings have blue beacons in the sky that you can kind of see in the distance, which hopefully allows players to understand that these are the areas they're protecting. Also, when the enemy count, you can see the enemy count on the right that has the list of all the enemies that are remaining in the map. When that enemy total count gets to 10, red beams appear that kind of highlight their location from across the map. Because we noticed that a lot of players, before that beam system was in place, they would just be wandering the map looking for those last stragglers, which is really not what we wanted. We also have beams for spells, so the spells that are dropped, and loot bags as well. So we noticed that after we implemented those things, a lot of players, after the wave was done, would kind of go around the map collecting loot. So yeah. Any other questions?
What kind of project management did you use on this?
I mean, we did it by sprints and used like the agile workflow for it. And we kept track of tasks using Asana and assigned different things to people based on how much time it would take and who was trying to do what. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. All right, come on up, next group. So this is our last in-person group, and then we have an online group.
All right. Whoa. Oh, my mic is
Let's try that again. My name is Logan Pribble. I am the level design lead, and this is AI Gotta Go.
All right, let's do introductions. I am the programming lead. I worked on the player and the dialogue and subtitle system, and a little bit more. I kind of had my hands in a lot of stuff, but Joshua. My name is Joshua.
Hi, I'm Ben Buhager. I was a programmer, worked mostly on the visual effects and the different obstacles you'll see, kind of conveyors and crushers. I was also a narrative lead, quote unquote. I wrote the VA script and did some of the background stuff for the narrative of our game.
Hello, I'm Logan Steffen, and I was also one of the programmers. I had my hand in a lot of the different game systems, so I handled like player death and transitions, not transitions, but like the completion percentage and like handling rewards and level selection to like what has been completed in the game, and also had a bit of like how player death is handled and taken care of between levels.
All right. Hi, my name is Sam Tackett. I was the senior UI artist, so I did the menus, the HUD, all of those different assets you see on your screen when you're playing the game.
Hello, I am Dylan Hestwood. I was one of the developers for the AI for this game, among other things. I also worked on the projectile system for the game, had my hand in some aspects of the player death, and just a variety of the systems in the game.
Hi, I'm Zach Adamson. I worked mostly on the attachments that the player can pick up and also getting the audio implemented.
Hello, I'm Kyle Christensen. I worked mostly with the UI as a programmer and mostly with the general bug fixing.
Hello, I am Tim Wenzel. I worked on the behavioral system for the enemy AI as well, and also helped with the projectile system. I sort of did everything that Dylan did, except I did not work on the online scoreboards, which is something that Dylan did entirely himself.
And we have two artists that could not be with us today. We have the art lead, Madeline Huck, and the 3D modeler and senior 3D artist, Tyler Christensen. All right, so right now we're gonna play the trailer for you guys.
Hello, and welcome to iThink Incorporated's patented iThink Quality Assurance Testing. We think, therefore you are. Activating Unit C1D. Unit activated. Vicious malware detected in Unit. Unit C1D. Present yourself immediately for deconstruction.
All right, so now we're gonna I'll just quick summarize kind of what you guys have just witnessed. The description of our game is you are Sid, a robot who has gained sentience on the factory floor. Using your enhanced movement capabilities, you must escape the factory you were created in to avoid being destroyed by your creators. So this game is essentially just a 3D movement platformer that was designed mainly for speedrunners, or at least with speedrunners in mind. And your essence is just get to the end and escape as fast as possible.
Yeah, so just to share our core design pillars with you guys, because I feel like, honestly, we stuck pretty close to these. Like, you can taste it. So our first one was very obviously speed, because we wanted to emphasize how fast, just going fast. We wanted to hit that niche of speedrunner where, they just grind out to go the fastest they possibly can. We also wanted to emphasize skill, rewarding the player for using movement tech and our systems that we put in place to the best of their possible ability. And we also really wanted to make things satisfying, have the movement feel like it just flows together. All right, and then we're just gonna go to gameplay. Yeah, so to explain...
Hey, Logan here, and I'm
I need to mute this.
Let's Play.
There you go. To explain our main gameplay mechanics, the movement is a big part of our main gameplay loop. Thank you. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. So as you can see here, the two very main things that you're going to be doing in this game are you're going to be grappling and you're going to be wall running. So grappling basically allows you to stick to a surface and grapple, and wall running allows you to wall run on the walls with those white lights on the side. And then there's also crouching and sliding and stuff like that to make moving around also feel better. The second aspect of our game are the attachments. You can see in the bottom right corner that there are two slots. One is for your right hand and one is for your legs. And we have 3 attachments for each, and basically they allow you to use new movement capabilities or just a tool to use. So for example, we have the blaster, which allows you to shoot a projectile, which can be used in certain levels to shoot targets or enemies and stuff like that. For example, for the legs, we have the overclocker, which actually slows down time so that you can get past things faster. Another example is the air cannon for the right arm, which allows you to shoot out a puff of smoke to push you in a direction. And basically, they're supplementary based on each level. You pick them up and you keep them until you pick up another one or you die. And then
we'll give it off to our narrative lead to talk about kind of where our narrative has gone.
Yeah, so basically this game does have kind of a story for it. There is a lot of dialogue. We were fortunate to have a very good sound team who managed to record 150 lines of dialogue within a week. In a single recording session all the way through, and then get that all edited and sent to us. So as you play through the game, you will get some of that kind of narrative. Basically, you are Sid on the I Think Theta, I believe? I think beta. Basically, one big factory world where you're going through builds tons of base model units, including yourself, but you have been inflicted with a vicious malware called sentience. System is trying to destroy you for that, and so you have to, well, you gotta go. Hence the title of our game. Sorry. Unfortunately, though, a lot of kind of the narrative elements were a little lost because due to time constraints, we just weren't able to get a lot of transition scenes, for example, which is where you'd have more bigger between our different areas, construction, recycling, QA testing, and military. Originally, there were going to be like little areas where you'd transition between them and then get bulkier dialogue. Unfortunately, time constraints couldn't get that in, so basically you'll be mostly getting small tidbits of the story through the administrator talking to you and essentially trying to convince you to destroy yourself and become deconstructed so that they can get on with their day and do their quarterly reports.
All right, and I'm going to quick talk about the level structure that we had for this game. So as Min stated, we had 4 different sections to this game. We had QA, which was just the tutorial. It was just 3 levels to go over just kind of the basics of the game. And then you jumped right into the recycling because that's where, you know, all robots that need to be decommissioned go. They recycling plant. And then after that, we went to the construction, which was 4 levels in total. 4 levels in total. And then it went ended off with the military level, or military sections. And we decided on those. We actually had in mind a lot more sections, but then due to scope and having to cut down on some things, we did have to cut down to just those 4. Originally, we also wanted to have a medical wing and a robot construction. So there were going to be normal construction and then a robot construction one. But we had to cut those due to time constraints. But as Min also stated, the transition rooms, I also helped build those and design them. Those essentially, if you look at the end of a level, it'll actually tell you the score and the world record for it. And we decided to put those in just to kind of further along the speed running vibe to the game. We wanted to actually put a time. It's like, okay, this is what you got, but then here's also the the current world record for this level. Either that is local or online. Currently we have it online, but due to us using stout servers, we're going to be losing that ability. And hackers, because we actually did have someone during SGX play through our game and got every single world record, but then also figured out exploits to our game by going into the code. You know, that's always fun to have, but honestly, that's kind of what we wanted, though. Like, that's the idea of the game is have fun with our game, test our limits, push us to our limits. We'll find, if we want to change it, we want to change it. If we don't, yeah. But anyway, back to topic. Objectives. So every level has a different objective. Majority of it is going to be just get to the end, so just as fast as you possibly can get to the end. But then there are also target completion ones, which is recycling plant level 2. That one is you get the blaster, shoot the required number of targets, and then the door opens and you can leave. But then there's also kill ones, which is essentially target, but you kill robots instead. And then the last one is just the just to get to the end at the collectible. That's the other one. Because there was a get to the end that you had to get under a certain time, but we decided to put that to side objectives. But there is one where it is just collectibles. Collect as many as you possibly can. And that is essentially it. So any questions?
First of all, just to wrap things up before questions real quick, I also wanted to talk about the leaderboard because our leaderboard, it only showed world records. It would only be like added to if you got a world record, and we wanted to do that so that we could incentivize like people beating times and trying to be like really good. And also, as we mentioned, the guy who hacked our game, he was mentioned before. The guy from Bugby, Ryan. He's insane. Yeah, we have a speedrun.com page right now, and he has, I think, half the records. But yeah, we'll open it up to questions now.
What can you grapple to, and do you do anything to incentivize people to vary their movement styles?
Yeah, so in the level design, what we wanted to do is keep a balance between what you can grapple and what you can't, and when you need to grapple and when you need a wall run. That was a big thing we had in the beginning, where the first level that you run into is you could just grapple through the entire thing. You don't have to wall run at all. So because of that, we got some player feedback and some feedback from our professors to design levels where there are different things in mind. So we started to design different levels to create that balance. But things that you can grapple to are going to be anything that the reticle in the center turns blue for. So that is going to be the wall running walls, the ground, and then any of the crates and things that you may encounter.
Pretty much anything except for the border walls and crushers.
And ceiling.
More questions?
Did you find a VA to do your dialogue for the story portion?
So we actually, all of our teams got to work with a wonderful group of people at the Berklee College of Music. So they helped us find a voice actor, and they ran the recording sessions and did the editing for all of that.
Yeah, they did absolutely fantastic. All the music, all the sounds are absolutely fantastic.
I don't know how well it came through, but they were the voice in the trailer. Some of their dialogue from the tutorial level is reused in the trailer. So yeah.
It's not able to come through as well because we have this muted, because this was with dialogue, with me and Josh talking over it for an official video. But the entire game does have dialogue pieces coming up as you go through the levels, and they did a phenomenal job voice acting for all of those throughout the entire game.
Any other questions?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you.
All right. So the next and I believe last group is our online group. This is going to go perfectly.
Did you get my text? Hello. Can anyone hear me?
Hello.
You good on the microphone?
You're good. Can you hear me?
I am hearing a lot of robot.
Yeah, me too.
Hello, hello. Test, test, test. Can you hear me?
Man, I blame AI. I gotta go.
You're
All right, I've gotten feedback through text that we are getting audio, at least to you guys, so that counts for something.
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome. Well, then we can begin. Give me just a moment, and I can start sharing this. I could find the right tab at least. Too many things open. Wonderful. Can everyone see? We good on that?
I think so.
All right. Awesome. Okay. I will take the lead then. Hello, we are Constellation Cleaners. Oh, actually, before I begin, do you guys want camera on? I probably should have asked first. I totally forgot. Okay, camera it is.
Okay.
Please excuse the state of my room. I just moved back home and it is a disaster.
Same here. Oh goodness. There we go.
I knew I wore my nice shirt for good reason. Okay, now we can get moving.
Making me look like a fool.
You're welcome. Okay, there we go. So hello, we are Constellation Cleaners. My name is Haley. I was the lead designer for this project. I typically worked a lot on the level design and general structure of what some of our missions might be. I did some of the concept art and more or less a bridge between the art direction and the coding direction.
Hi, I'm Melissa Newmeyer. I'm the project lead and art lead. I'm the one who pitched the idea. Most of the stuff I did, I was basically an octopus. I handled texturing, concept art, modeling, and a lot of the advertisement.
Want input from some of our other team, or do you just want us two to keep moving? Because we're missing our other lead right now.
I mean, I can. So we have also Brock Blanc here. He was one of our programmers. We can't hear you, Brock, if you're trying to talk. And I see Alex
you hear
is
me
here
now?
too. There you are, Brock. Yay.
Okay. Yes, my name is Brock Blank. I worked on a bit of everything in the project. I was a programmer. I worked a lot on the tether, getting that working, the dialogue system, and getting like the tools and vacuum working.
We also have Alexander here. Alex, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Alexander. I did 3D modeling, technical art, and a bit of writing for the dialogue that pops up game while you are doing certain interactions and whatnot. Sorry, my dog is very excited when he hears voices.
It's okay. Thank you, Alex.
Here, hopefully this actually comes through. Oh, perfect. There we go. So I just have this right embedded in our thing, but here's our intro for May, our most recent one. I don't know if sound's going to come through, but maybe. It does have sound. Oh, lovely. The video is not playing properly. Okay, backup plan. Pardon me for just one moment if it'll let me back out of here.
While Haley does that, we also have our other team members that are not here. We have Noah Brown, Brandon Martinez, Jacob Zahner, Carter Gale, and we also have two other artists, Audrey Lawson and Ariana Tenold. But until Haley gets that fixed.
Okay.
Perfect.
There. I'll just have to jump back and forth between windows to get this operating.
I also forgot Spencer Clark. He's also a programmer. I forgot
Forget
Spencer.
Spencer, I guess. Okay. All right,
Okay.
we'll try this one. Getting better feedback on this? Okay, awesome. Thank you for your timely responses, Barrier. I appreciate it. Okay, so I will hop back to the proper slideshow. Wherever it is. I have too many things open right now. Here we go. All right, there we are. So, okay, Mel, do you want to explain the elevator pitch?
Sure. So, Constellation Cleaners is a casual co-op game. You take on the roles as Jade and Muna and join Constellation Cleaners, which is an intergalactic janitorial service. The main gimmick of the game is that you are constantly attached by the hip with an elastic tether, as you saw in the trailer. And you work together to walk around the islands, clean up the filth, aid the local wildlife, and our main world is called Milky Way Beach. We have 2 islands currently, and that's
All right, so generally speaking, the goal of this game was to be easily accessible. It's something that no matter who you are and how much experience you've had with games, you can pick it up, you can figure it out, and you can play it with whoever you want. So we have this on PC right now. We generally recommend the use of controllers, but keyboard works as well. It is required. It's intended for 2 players, and it requires 2 players. Yeah, generals, simple controls, simple button presses, a lot of repeated action, something that's very easily to pick up and play regardless of your experience level. Maybe you can take over the gameplay mechanics.
Your your stream froze?
Oh, of course it did.
It's okay.
Tell me if it unfreezes or if I should restart it.
Let me
Restart
see.
this, so we're only seeing edit mode. Lovely. I don't
There
know
we go.
why.
I'm good. It's all good. I think it was
We're
me.
good?
Sorry. Yeah.
All right, is that better?
Yeah. So, gameplay mechanics is that, like I said, the tether holds the players together and restricts the movement, and you interact with the environment, as you saw in the trailer. If 2 players are around a pole, they have to work together to get unstuck. Our main other mechanic is you are cleaners, so you have vacuums. Jade is the slender and taller one, so we designed the vacuum to be more like that. And it sucks in long but narrow column to retrieve from long distances. Muna has a more wide nozzle vacuum that sucks in short but a wider cone to cover a lot of ground. They also have secondary tools to help with the cleaning. So Jade has a hammer to break apart and knock certain objects around, while Muna has clippers to cut down certain objects.
We have a bit of a mission system. This is slightly adjusted. We don't have it necessarily separated in this way, but there are some missions that are intended to be done as a group and working together. Otherwise, a lot of stuff can be done by individual players. These missions involve picking up the trash, cleaning off objects, carrying around objects, and rescuing wildlife. Some of the team missions we have involve one of the creatures that we have. It is called the Jelly Jelly. It will be featured a little later in the slideshow. The goal of that is for Muna, with their stronger vacuum, to pick up the jellyfish, and for Jade with the hammer to help get it unstuck by knocking it off. Initially, it's stuck in the sand and can't move without your guys' help. Mel, you can do these ones. These are your babies.
Okay. Let's see if I can get your stream froze again.
Oh, of course. Okay, never mind. Then I'll do it. Or you can have me wait until
It's
it
fine.
gets
You go ahead with that one. I'll
1%.
get
That's
this
what's
thing up.
freezing the stream. Okay, we'll just do this then. Is that
Yep.
better?
Yeah, okay, perfect. All right. So the main characters is Jade and Muna. Jade is based off The Legend of the Jade Rabbit. They are sarcastic and jaded, and we went for elongated and triangular shapes with the green color. Muna is based over the cow that jumped over the moon. They are optimistic and kind-hearted. We wanted to go with large and round shapes with short pink color. As we stated before, accessibility and easy to pick up was one of our main pillars. So when we designed these characters, we wanted to assure that no matter what player would come up to the game, that they could figure out if they were Muna or Jade by just looking at them.
We also have a couple NPCs in our game. We do have dialogue. It's not necessarily super interactable, but it will play at random and during tutorials. The first one is Angela. She's your client. She has somewhat of a feature in the game in 2D assets, and a bit of a partial 3D model. She'll start just talking to the players, introduce them to what to do, and will make her snide comments every now and again. The boss or the CEO or upper management or whatever you'd like to call them does not appear in the game at all as a 3D model, but will always be there as a 2D model. This is mostly your tutorial guy. They will be there introducing all the main game mechanics and jump in every now and again with random dialogue to check in on the players. Here's some of our concept art. We have on the upper left is some of our creatures, not all of them, but 2 of our main creatures. Then we have concepts for garbage, and then some of our 3D models and other concept art. We have our current palm trees, we have the jelly, and then there are some general decorative assets shown by our sandcastle. I think we kind of covered this, but yeah, sorry, Mel, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So as we stated with, like, we kind of covered it, but our main inspiration was Banjo-Kazooie and Spyro. We really wanted to go into that more kid-like game where anyone could have fun with it. And then Haley, if you could go with the next slide. One of our main things we wanted to keep was audio. So there's no specific language. It's actually gibberish. And we had some voice actors speak gibberish, and we edited it to make it sound more like Animal Crossing and Banjo-Kazooie like. And then we had for our music by our amazing audio team was a mix of high-tech space with chill tropical style.
We do have all of these featured on here, but I do not think that the audio will work properly. But as long as it's working through YouTube, you guys will get a good example of the amazing work that our audio team did for us.
That's good.
Yeah. And that's really about it. We got any questions? I might not be able to see everything just because of the way I'm sharing my screen, so I will be relying on others to relay them to me.
Can you hear me? Personally?
Get back to...
Can you hear me? No? Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? We can also, like, the Discord is also great for chatting after. Okay.
We can't hear much. It's very broken up on your guys' end.
Jade, shut up, you're loud.
Okay, I guess I'll just...
There we go.
What drove the decision to do a 2-player co-op sort of game?
Haley, did you hear any of that?
I unfortunately did not. The audio quality is not coming through very well.
Okay. There, thank you for doing the little text here. So to do 2-player co-op, we wanted to do just something a bit different because most of the games we've seen with Stout has been mainly 1 player or 4 players, and we wanted to do a 2-player co-op because we love playing games with our partners or our family. And one of the main drives was that work together, because most of the games you're kind of fighting against each other. And we just wanted that more go-hearted with, like Banjo-Kazooie, but basically you separate the bear and the bird. Okay.
Got any other questions? Anything
Okay,
from
thank you.
our live stream chat?
Let's see if I can.
All right. If you guys have any questions for them, you can ask in Discord. We're gonna try to wrap up here. But I know that here, I'm gonna hand you this mic.
All right, thank you again. Just a couple of wrapping up things for tonight. So you heard a lot of our students talking about SGX. SGX is our Stout Game Expo. It takes place every semester at the end of our semester, showcasing either the completed work of that semester or some in-progress work. So you can go to VW Stout SGX page, and you can see all these games, as well as the games from our freshmen, sophomores, juniors as well.
I'm sorry, did not catch a single word of that.
I think
was that
we're
another
done.
question? Was that something else?
I think we're done, Haley.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, well, cool. There we go.
Yes, thank you all.
Thank you. A couple of other things too. We are representing two different departments in the university. I'm representing the School of Art and Design. Seth and Michael are representing the computer science area. In the School of Art and Design particularly, I'm just going to put a plug in here. We have a need for instructors for design drawing. So if you have a good drawing hand, and can do perspective and things like that, please feel free to reach out to us in the School of Art and Design. We're also looking for instructors for a 2D digital imaging class, which focuses primarily on the Adobe suite of InDesign and Photoshop.
One other thing I wanted to emphasize, we always work hard to try and collaborate, and a few of our teams mentioned it. We have a partnership with the Berklee College of Music in Boston, where their seniors that are working on their sort of end capstone experience partner up with our teams and provide audio, provide sound effects, sound engineering, sometimes voiceover. It's always been an amazing partnership. They work really closely with our teams. We also have our junior teams collaborating with Michigan Tech, which has a group of people that also are working to do game audio. So that's always been a really nice way to sort of broaden our connection to other schools as well. Well, just like someone earlier tonight was trying to recruit people to do sound, we're recruiting people to do sound for our games too. So yeah. All right. Well, I think that's everything. Thank you so much for your attention tonight. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for the patience with all the technology and everything. Usually their meetings go just a little smoother. I'm not saying perfectly, but a little smoother. So thank you all for coming. And a couple quick things. So if you have glasses or you see cups or glasses somewhere, go ahead and put them in. There's a few different dirty dishwashers. It should say dirty on the front. I think the red there. Go ahead and just throw them in there. And then when you leave, make sure you use the internal back door, not the inviting front door. Do the back door, which is down and this way. And then if you happen to park in the front, you can hang a right in that hallway, and that'll kind of put you off over there. Otherwise, yeah, you'll figure it out. Did I think I said everything? Thank you so much. Oh, and thanks for for Beth and all the volunteers and all that. Have a nice night.